Postal Service honors music icon Sarah Vaughan. Vaughan was one of America's greatest singers, successful in both jazz and pop, with a talent for being able to improvise and skillful phrasing, and she had a voice that ranged over several octaves. The stamp art is an oil painting of Vaughan in performance based on a 1955 photograph by Hugh Bell. We're with the daughter of Hugh Bell. Tell me a little bit about your father and what you're feeling right now about this stamp that just came out.
This is just really fantastic. I wasn't expecting this. So I'm very excited to see the dedication to Sarah and my father's stamp out there. It's fantastic.
And tell me a little bit about your father.
He was a fantastic man. He passed away 3 years ago. We miss him very much, but having his picture up here and in galleries, and it just keeps his spirit. His spirit is on forever, so it's very exciting to see this happening.
When you were growing up, did he share a lot of these photos with you?
Oh, absolutely. They're like relatives.
The stamp we are about to unveil is based on a 1955 black and white photograph taken of Miss Vaughan by the legendary photographer Hugh Bell. This photo appeared on Miss Vaughan's album After Hours. We believe Mr. Bell took this striking shot in Atlantic City at Club Harlem on Kentucky Avenue. Kentucky Avenue had a swinging jazz scene at that time. Miss Vaughan would frequently sing in New York City and then drive down to Atlantic City and sing and relax with friends at Club Harlem. Painter and illustrator Bart Forbes converted the photo into a beautiful oil portrait, while art designer Edith Kessler designed the stamp and the stamp pane. On the stamp and the pane, Miss Vaughan is surrounded by a midnight blue background. Her eyes are closed, her head is tilted back slightly. The artwork expertly evokes the rich tones of Miss Vaughan's voice and captures her sultry stage presence. The right side of the stamp pane lists some of Miss Vaughan's most popular songs. The first song in that list is Body and Soul. As many of you know, Body and Soul was the song Miss Vaughan sang on that October night in 1942 to win Amateur Night at the Apollo Theater, which propelled her legendary career. So on behalf of the over 500,000 men and women of the United States Postal Service, today, March 29th, 2016, we dedicate a forever stamp honoring one of America's greatest singers, Miss Sarah Vaughan.
With every voice that sings, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
It is an outstanding day indeed to pay tribute to Sarah Vaughan, the daughter of our wonderful city, and to see her face on the U.S. postage stamp forever and ever, marking her in the history of this country. And as a representative of our great city, I would like to present a proclamation on her behalf. I'll just read the last three parts of it. It says, whereas Sarah Vaughan lived at 21 Avon Avenue in Newark until moving to Inglewood and continued to sing and perform around the world for decades with Sending the Clowns as her signature song. She died on April 3rd, 1990. Her funeral was held at Mount Zion Baptist Church, and she was buried in Glendale Cemetery. Whereas Sarah Vaughan was one of the most titanic performing artists in American history, described by the New York Times as a singer who brought an operatic splendor to her performances of popular standards in jazz, and a member of the Grammy Hall of Fame and New Jersey Hall of Fame. More importantly, she was one of Newark's greatest native daughters, an inspiration to an entire city, a symbol of our excellence. And whereas, as mayor of Newark, I salute Sarah Vaughan as the United States Postal Service recognizes her life, career, and legacy by unveiling a commemorative postage stamp at Newark Symphony Hall today, as part of the events honoring the 350th anniversary of our incredible city. Now, therefore, I, Raz Baraka, Mayor of the City of Newark, hereby recognize Sarah Vaughan, and I urge all residents, employees, and visitors of the City of Newark to join me in this special tribute to Sarah Vaughan, Sassy, the Divine One.
I just have to say it's truly a blessing being here today. You have no idea. I am so overwhelmed. I have loved Sarah all of my life. As far back as the age of 5 years old, I was singing Misty. And for the past 15, 16 years, I've been doing an annual tribute to Sarah Vaughan at the Priory in Newark. As a matter of fact, I just did a concert this past Friday, and a lot of you were there. And I always remember her birthday on March 27th. I also remember her passing, April 3rd, 1990. Newark was at a loss. From Martin Luther King Boulevard to Broad Street to North Newark. And I was there at 6:30 in the morning, one of thousands. So to the Vaughan family, I say thank you. And we are at a loss. Today I have working with me Mr. Radam Schwartz on piano. Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair, sending the clowns. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? Me here at last on the ground, one who can't move, sending the clowns. Where are the clowns? Just when I stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one that I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my lines, no one is there. Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. And where are the clowns? Send in the clowns. don't bother, they're here. Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? Losing my timing this late in my career. And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Well, maybe next year.
Thank you. Ms. Carrie Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Carrie Jackson. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. And now to deliver our closing remarks and introduce another very special guest, I'd like to bring to the stage Mr. Mark Ruffin. I had the pleasure of working with Mark for a few years at Sirius XM. He is currently the program director for the Real Jazz Channel on Sirius XM satellite radio. But he's a man of many talents. He's a writer. He's a two-time Emmy Award-winning journalist. He's a radio and album producer. Please welcome Mr. Mark Ruffin.
Thank you. I am not from Newark. I am from Chicago. Hey. But I grew up in a record store, okay? So my first memory in my mind's eye of Newark, because so many great organ clubs and organ records and organ players are from here, including the great Larry Young, my first vision in my mind's eye of Newark was dark, smoky clubs with Hammond B3 organs, okay? As I grew up into adulthood, that vision was changed by three literary people. Of course, the father of the Honorable Mayor, Amiri Baraka, absolutely. And Philip Roth, who is an amazing author from Newark. And these two guys had two different visions of this place. But really, my mind's eye was changed by a writer who's not even from here. Her name is Michelle Mercer. Michelle Mercer wrote a great book called Footprints, The Life and Times of Wayne Shorter. And Wayne Shorter, another great son of Newark, through that book I found out just how many great people were from this town in jazz, arts, and in literary world. And you folks, this place, again, for me, that book changed everything. When I was in Chicago, I met a great son of New Jersey by the name of Larry Rosen. I worked with him a lot in Chicago. He had a record company called GRP Records. I worked with him there. He had a TV show called Legends in Jazz on PBS. I worked with him there. But then when I moved to New York, I got to work and play with him a lot more. And Larry loved Newark. He loved the idea of New Jersey, and that's why he created the Sarah Vaughan vocal competition. He was the guy who created it, thought it up, and Jasmia Horn was one of the winners. You heard her earlier. And Larry also loved the idea of Newark. He told me that it was in Newark that people were too headstrong to be intimidated by that town next door. Unlike my hometown of Chicago. It was Larry who I heard use the analogy that the pressure of that big town combined with the smoldering rising talent, fierce work ethic, and tenacity of Jersey people worked like coal to produce outsized diamonds like Sarah Vaughan. Larry loved New Jersey, and with him, and through the Sarah Vaughan vocal competition and him talking about it, I learned a lot about Sarah, and I learned also that tenacity, that fierce talent is what she used to tackle the Apollo, how she stood in and hung out with those famous big bands of Earl Hines, Billy Eckstine, and Dizzy Gillespie. And according to my friend Larry, the reason she had a great trio with great musicianship all the time is that what she was used to growing up here in Newark. It was the highest quality and peerless professionalism all the time. I want to congratulate the United States Postal Service for not only honoring Sarah Vaughan, but the spirit of Newark, which I've come to learn and love. When I read the bio of the act that's coming out, Miss Melba Moore, I wasn't surprised to find that she had those same qualities and high standards of Sarah Vaughan, Larry Rosen, Wayne Shorter, Whitney Houston, Woody Shaw, Larry Young, and the dozens of international artists that come from Newark, New Jersey. This woman hails from a musical family. She graduated from the Arts High School in Newark, and give it a hand. And at the encouragement of her parents, she went on to pursue a musical education at Montclair State University, where she earned a Bachelor's of Music Education degree. Her stepfather, as Mr. Stroman talked about, is Clement Mormon. He introduced her to several agents who helped her get into hair. Who remembers hair? Did you know that Melba Moore became the first African woman to replace a white actress in a leading role on Broadway? She replaced Diane Keaton in hair. She also earned a Tony for her portrayal as Ludi Bell in Pearlie, right on, and was the first African-American woman to perform on Broadway as Fantine in Les Mis, okay? And although she worked on Broadway, she never forgot her musical roots, her first love, and she focused on her music career as well. She made her recording debut on Mercury Records and was promptly nominated for a Grammy Award for Best New Artist. She scored a string of Billboard top hits, including some that you'll remember, like Falling and A Little Bit More, the duet with Freddie Jackson. And presently, Melba Moore is working on an autobiography dealing with her groundbreaking achievements, which include that Grammy and that Tony. Please welcome to the stage a daughter of Newark, the fabulous Melba Moore and the Melba Moore Trio.
Hey, Newark. You're celebrating the divine Miss Sarah Vaughan. Look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. Feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Might be the sound of your hello, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you need. You can say that you're leading me on, but it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. On my own, when I wander through this paradise alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty, too much in love. But I'm here to celebrate the great Miss Sarah Vaughan, the divine Miss Sarah Vaughan. And I'd like to, I hope my frog goes away, render a celebration of one of the very few up-tempo songs that Miss Sarah Vaughan sang. It's called Broken-Hearted Melody. Come on, help me. Oh, broken-hearted melody. Once you were our love song. Oh, now you just keep taunting me with the memory of his tender love. Broken-hearted melody. If you keep reminding me of the kiss I long to press and the love I lost since he went away. Night and day they play. Come on, y'all. Broken-hearted melody that he used to sing to me. And our lover was a young and bright, and he held me tight. His tender love, oh, broken-hearted melody. Don't you sing that line to me? Won't you bring him back to me? 'Cause when he comes back, no longer will he be a broken-hearted melody. Sarah sang, ooh, 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 ooh. Miss Sarah, ooh, 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 ooh. That was the divine Miss Sarah Vaughan. We celebrate her today. Woo! Miss Sarah Vaughan. I apologize, I have a little frog in my throat today. I don't know what's going on. I must be nervous. But I still have a wonderful a present for you. One that was given to me earlier in my life. I'm not a blood relative, but I'm a stepchild. I'm very happy to be of the great Mr. Clem Mormon, who now, being a Newark citizen, has on Palm Sunday celebrated his 100th university. And I'm going to invite him to come out here with me now. Here he comes. Mr. Clement Leroy Mormon, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure being here. I was born in Newark on Charlton Street. Anyone know where Charlton Street is? I went to Charlton Street School, Southside High. It's now. And I've had the pleasure of being the father of Melba Moore, and we've had such a good time. And I was in this theater when I was about 15 or 14, and we used to have a programmer every Saturday morning. Ernest Schelling, the director of the New York Philharmonic, would bring us in, and we would listen to him explain the different instruments to us, the sound of them. And it still rings in my ear. And when I walked in the theater today, it brought back very pleasant memories. And I thank you all so much for being so nice to me and Melba. Thank you.
Mr. Newark, New Jersey, Mr. Clement Leroy Mormon, 100 years old. And we're celebrating the divine Miss Sarah Vaughan. Thank you.
Well, I do want to thank you all for coming out and joining us for this wonderful ceremony today. Our thanks to Melba Moore and all of the wonderful performers and guest speakers here today. And we want to let you know that the Sarah Vaughan stamp sheets, including the first day of issue cancellations, are on sale in the lobby. Also in the lobby, you will find this release, Sarah Vaughan Live at Rosie's. This is previously unreleased material by Sarah Vaughan, capturing her in her prime in 1978. Live at Rosie's down in New Orleans. This is really Sarah Vaughan at her best with a fabulous trio. They had been together for many years when this music was recorded, so they fit like hand and glove, and you're going to want to pick this up and hear it on WBGO as well, Live at Rosie's.
I'm Kristal Hart reporting from the Sarah Vaughan Theater here in Newark, New Jersey. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.
And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. And where